Hello and welcome to the Goldbridge live stream. Are Liverpool the new Manchester United? And what does that mean? Look, Liverpool, let's be honest with you. Liverpool, their trophy cabinet may well be as empty as a politician's promise. And they may not win anything this season. But there are things. Last night I tuned into Liverpool versus PSG. I'll put my hands up. I did tune into it, hoping, expecting PSG to batter them, because that's what a Manchester United fan does. And what I actually saw was obviously what I've said about Neymar on my Twitter account this morning, most overrated player in the world. But what I did see is a Liverpool performance that totally and utterly deserved that win. And I say it begrudgingly, but they did. But what I also saw were parallels and similarities to prime Manchester United under Sir Alex Ferguson. And I don't know whether Klopp I don't know loads about Klopp. I know the style of football Klopp goes with, and there is definitely differences between the way Klopp plays and the way Sir Alex Ferguson played. But I just wonder whether Klopp, before he's come to England, or whilst he's been at England, has looked at the Premier League, has looked at the most successful manager in the Premier League, has looked at how he did things in the Premier League. Because when you look at what Sir Alex Ferguson did, and we lived it, some of us, he dominated the Premier League, and it will take any manager will never do what he did. But what he did do is, over the years, he beat different people, like Wenger, who was this foreign manager that everyone was living up his arse. And at the start of the war, Wenger was winning, but by the end of it, Sir Alex Ferguson won. Jose Mourinho comes along, same thing happens again. By the end of it, Sir Alex Ferguson, longevity, and is winning more things than Mourinho did at Chelsea, who left. So maybe Jurgen Klopp's looked at that. Maybe he's looked at what Sir Alex Ferguson did, because Sir Alex Ferguson gets a lot of credit, but one of the things that he did do was remodel his team so many times and take on new challengers, take on the new boys on the block. Now, look at what Liverpool are doing. I mean, the very simplistic thing is to say, well, and I would say this about current Manchester United as well, and I'm glad that we've got this opportunity to say this, because I can say what I think on here, and that is that with what happened yesterday, PSG got that equaliser, didn't deserve it. 10 minutes to go, you think, right, are PSG now going to go and win it? Are Liverpool going to sit back? No, Liverpool went for it, and it went end to end. And I thought that is sort of what Sir Alex Ferguson would have done in that situation. In a game that should have been 3-4-1, you make a stupid mistake at the other end, it's 2-2. Sir Alex Ferguson, in his anger and frustration, would have been, right, we're going to go and win this game. There's no way we should even be drawing it. We're going to go and win it. And that's what Sir Alex Ferguson would do. That's what Liverpool did. Now, what Mourinho would do, I would be happy to bet money on this. In that situation, we wouldn't have played like that anyway. We would have invited PSG onto us a lot more. But in that situation, he would have gone, whoa, I can't believe it. We should have won this game. I just want to get to the post-match press conference where I can say we deserved to win it, but we drew it. But I don't think he would have gone for it in the last 10 minutes. In fact, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have done. But that's not what, that's the United now. And I don't, bringing Mourinho into it or not it maybe isn't fair. But there's no way we would have gone for that. And I don't think a lot of teams would have done. And I'm never going to give Liverpool any credit, but I can give Jurgen Klopp some credit and say fair play. He went for a game that they deserved to win, and they nearly drew. So that was very much like Sir Alex Ferguson. On top of that, something that maybe people aren't picking up on that I did yesterday, because when you watch a game like that where it is a rival that you don't want to win and you sort of have to give begrudging respect, what I did notice, and I haven't seen because I don't watch a lot of them, is that yes, Keita and Fabinho were on the bench. Firmino was injured, but when you look at that team that Liverpool put out yesterday, you've got Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back, Robertson, yes, he's Scottish but British, at left back. You've got Henderson and Milner, Gomez as well. I forgot about him, the centre back. That's another British player. So that's 5 we're up to already, with Sturridge up front. That's 6. That's half the team with British roots. And that is something that, again, Manchester United have always been the flag bearer for that. We've always been the team that's consistently gone down that route. And when you look at Man City, who sort of play lip service to it with John Stones and Delph and Kyle Walker, but they're not really key players within their team. You look at United over the years, they were all the British players were always fundamental to the team, the big players in the team. The Scholes, the Keane, who isn't British, he's from Republic of Ireland, but Giggs, Beckham, Neville, even going back Cole, people like that, it's fundamental to it. And that's what I saw with Liverpool yesterday. And I'm sure maybe Liverpool fans want Fabinho and Keita in the team, but I think again, that's a nod to what United used to do, and maybe Klopp's looked at that and gone, you know what? Look at Arsenal over the last decade. They lost their Britishness, they lost their Sol Campbells, their Tony Adams, their David Seamans, and they've not won a title. You look at Chelsea again; they've lost John Terry, Frank Lampard, and they're struggling again. I mean, I know they have won titles, but there's no consistency there. And maybe Klopp purposely wants the British players in there to give that. And it's a subtle thing. I don't think even Liverpool fans will have considered it. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't. But it's a subtle thing that gives you that. Look at the midfield yesterday against PSG. Look at Milner biting into Neymar. And there's a difference. There's a difference when it's Paul Scholes biting into a tackle than there is if it's Fred or Pogba. There's a difference if it's Milner biting into a tackle than if it's Keita or Fabinho. And it's nothing to do with being, pro-England or pro-Britain or pro-whatever. What it is it's just the fact is that over 80% of any match day crowd will be British, because that's the way it is. And if you've got James Milner or Paul Scholes biting into a tackle, you feel more attached to it than you do with these foreign players that come in that you love, but it just gives you a bit more of an identity. And again, I think that's another similarity that I noticed last night that I hadn't. And then the third thing is that the wing play. And I say the wing play in relation to the fullbacks. And this probably hurt me the most when I was watching this game yesterday, because I think as a United fan, many of us have to accept at the moment that Liverpool and Man City are playing a brand of football that we would like. I'm not mad on Man City's brand of football, to be honest. The Pep tiki-taka way, yeah, it's great and it's very successful and you score good goals, but I probably prefer the Liverpool way from what I saw yesterday. And I say that with real hardship, because I don't like saying this, but I prefer what they do to what Man City do, because I love wing play. And their fullbacks yesterday, numerous times, delivered decent balls into the box. They got back and forward, back and forward, back and forward. They defended fantastically well against Neymar and Mbappe, who, well, Neymar shouldn't be, but Mbappe definitely is one of the best players at the moment. But I liked that wing play. And I know they haven't really got wing play with Mane and Salah, although they have, but they haven't. I mean, this is the sort of thing United should be doing with Sanchez and Martial or Rashford. That's what they should be doing with their player either side of Lukaku, or Liverpool have Firmino. But what United do not have and haven't had for 5 or 6 years is that fullbacks providing the width who can defend really well but get forward really well, and with a left foot from the left and with a right foot from the right, they're putting in crosses into the box. I mean, Sturridge's goal comes from the cross from the left. And Trent Alexander-Arnold did it a lot down the right as well. And this is the United way. I don't care what anybody says. I don't know whether Klopp's done it deliberately or not, or whether it's something he's always liked. I can't really think of him doing it at Dortmund. But that is fundamentally the United way, the width. And especially the fullbacks getting forward, whether it's Irwin or Evra down the left, or whether it's Gary Neville down the right-hand side. It's something we've always done. And it's something we don't do anymore. And we haven't got fullbacks who can put crosses into the box. And I hope that Luke Shaw is going to start to fill that void. But I certainly don't think it's the Mourinho way. It's the United way, but it's not the Mourinho way. And that was something that probably the biggest of the lot that really made me think, are Liverpool now the new United? And not necessarily in the sense that Liverpool are going to go and dominate the Premier League. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's too competitive. But Liverpool, in a ridiculous way, are probably the closest thing to a Sir Alex Ferguson United side, or a traditional United side, out there at the moment. They've got that mix of Britishness and foreign talent. They've got the wing play. They've got the fullbacks bombing forward, and they've got that attitude that even if somebody pegs us back in a game that we should have won, we'll go and win it again late on. And that's tough. That's really tough to take. And I'm sure a few United fans will bury their head in the sand about it, and I'm sure a few Liverpool fans, because of the rivalry, will say, "Sod that, we're not the new United, we're our own thing." But to be honest with you, and sitting here before we've got our game against Young Boys tonight, and hopefully we win that, but I don't think we're going to win it in the way Liverpool won last night. The reality is that any great manager, any great coach will always be influenced by the past, because everybody starts off as a youngster and grows up, and when you're growing up you have influences. You're not born Sir Alex Ferguson, this is the way I'm going to do things. You take influences from everywhere. Where would Klopp take his influences from in relation to the Premier League? Well, he wouldn't take it from any previous Liverpool manager, because there hasn't been a successful previous Premier League manager. And if you come in with the job of winning a Premier League title, you're going to look at who's been successful in the Premier League. And there is only one name you start at. It's Sir Alex Ferguson. You then work your way down and you look at Mourinho and Wenger. And maybe you might look at Wenger, but I don't think he'd be looking at Mourinho, because I don't think that fits in with how Jurgen Klopp wants to play football. And also, I think there is a similarity as well that people might not like, is that who's the manager who can shut Jurgen Klopp down? Jose Mourinho. Who was the manager that Sir Alex Ferguson always struggled against? Jose Mourinho. Mourinho can shut that system down. He can close it off. He can park the bus. He can do whatever he wants, but he can shut it down. Klopp can't beat Mourinho, and Sir Alex Ferguson always struggled to beat Mourinho as well. So look, I was just sat there this morning and I thought, do I do this video or not? Is it going to be received well? Probably not. But I watched a game of football last night and I saw things from the last 30 years of me watching football, and hence that's the title. And I think that them similarities are there. Klopp is Klopp, Sir Alex Ferguson is Sir Alex Ferguson, as simple as that, says Stiraz. Yeah, we're always going to get people who say stuff like that, but to be honest with you, Stiraz, I think it's an absolutely non-entity statement that you've made there, because, as I said, whether you are an author, whether you are a magician, whether you are even if you're a bloody road sweeper, you will be influenced by somebody, because you don't just pick your broom up and start sweeping. There'll be some sort of technique or style that you've picked up from other people. And I firmly believe it. I don't really want it to be happening, because Liverpool are the biggest rival in my life as a Manchester United fan. But I can see similarities there. I can see it with the and I'm sure there was a lot of people last night saying, why isn't Keita and Fabinho not playing? And he plays Milner and Henderson, and then they dominate the midfield, because they get it. They get what the Premier League's all about. They've got that connection. Liverpool are probably one of the only teams with Spurs and United to a certain extent at the moment who are playing a lot of British players in their team. And it's been proven to be a successful chemistry. Liverpool beat Manchester United home and away, says Scissors. When? When did that happen then? When did that happen? Tell us when that happened then, because we ain't playing FIFA now. It's real life, mate, and you haven't beat Man United home and away for a long time. The Angel says, well, Liverpool can play as entertaining as they want, but they won't win anything. Well, that is the challenge. That is the challenge. You can say, are they the new Manchester United? I think they're the closest thing to Manchester United at the moment in relation to playing style in the traditional United way. But whether they can win titles or not, I would still say that City are the team that will win the title this year. But having said that, no team has retained the Premier League since Manchester United, I don't think. Back in, was it 2009 that we did it? So it's... and Man City have never done it. So if it's going to follow form and there's going to be a team that wins it that's never won it before, then maybe it will be them. 30 years and still counting for Liverpool, says Dinesh. And Jose will go to Arsenal if he is sacked this season, says Don. And we keep saying we are the biggest club in the world. Really, our football doesn't show it. Let's be honest with ourselves. In order for us to be the biggest and the best, we need to play better and win, says Emmanuel. I presume he's a Manchester United fan. Look, end of the day, Kieran Burns says, you're right, Mark. Look at the Premier League winning teams over the past decade. The real leaders and key players with British. It's a great point. It is a great point, even though I'm blowing my own trumpet there. But if you look at all the Premier League title winners over the Premier League history, they will be absolutely, fundamentally have a core set of British players in it. They will. Look, I've lived in Republic of Ireland for 3 years, and I know people from there don't want to be called British, and you're not British by any means, but you know what I mean. Islands, Northern Ireland, it's the same part of those islands, isn't it? I mean, Republic of Ireland isn't like France, is it? Most Republic of Ireland players will play in the Premier League. That's what I mean. So Roy Keane's not British, of course he's not, and a lot of people would quite rightly be offended by that. But he's from a country that really is in the same sort of background and understanding of what English players and Scottish players and Welsh and Northern Irish players are. And if you go through the Premier League, whether it's Manchester United with the class of 92, with Roy Keane, with people like Dennis Irwin, whether it's Steve Bruce and Pallister from before that, whether it's Blackburn Rovers winning a title with Shearer and Sutton and Batty, whether it's Arsenal winning the title with people like Tony Adams and David Seaman in the team. whether it's Chelsea with John Terry and Frank Lampard and Ashley Cole, whether it's the United teams with the Rooneys in it and the Scholes in it and the Fiat Ferdinands in it, whether it's the Chelsea team again with John Terry in it, whether it's the Man City team. I mean, Man City are probably the only ones really that don't do it. I've got to be honest. I mean, Leicester, obviously, Vardy and people like that, they're going to have a lot of British players in it. But if you are Jurgen Klopp, like I say, maybe he's looked at that and gone, you know what? I might have to be a bit patient with some of these youngsters like Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson, but ultimately it's going to benefit us because that is the master plan for winning the Premier League. That's how it works. I mean, City are the only ones who realistically don't really have massive British influence in there. Their best players aren't British, are they? But they still have some. There's still one or two in there. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. It's more of a video to leave you lot to go and chat amongst yourselves in the comments below. But there we go. Thanks for watching. Please do drop a like on the video if you like this sort of content. And I'll be live on the United stand tonight with a watch-along. Manchester United versus Young Boys. I'm sure we'll get a lot of viewers for that. Maybe for the wrong reasons, but, you know, we are what we are, the United stand. I'll be there tonight at about 7 o'clock. I think kickoff's at 8. Speak to you all soon.